Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, neighborhood pyrography artist. I'm joined with Hubcap.
Hubby?
Oh, wow, it's already one of these days. It's snowing. I'm happy. So today we are coming back to the Hummingbird Queen, which I haven't touched her since 2019. I might have done a little bit in 2020. I don't remember. But the last time he was on a live was in 2019. So I need to get her finished. So we have foliage right here with a lot of negative burning that I need to get in, and then work on some of the mist of the water. So real quick, hey Sheila, Carrie, Andrea, Teresa, Spence, Shirley, yeah, he's here. Kathy. She was the first one, wasn't she?
Uh-huh.
Did I miss anybody so far?
Did you say Spence?
Well, I'll say Spence again.
Andrea? Yeah, I think you got everybody.
Yeah, I think I got everybody. All right, so I'm going to start off with... Now, this is Baltic Birch. I think this was one of my first, if not first, Trekell board. And I haven't worked on one in a long while. And a few things I wanted to say about it is the color it is, because it's oxidized. It's been sitting around since 2000, and I think I started this in 2018. It has no varnish on it, so the wood oxidizes, or patinas, however you want to say it. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that also means I can do some scratch outs to get lighter wood. Now when I go to varnish, that wood will darken because it's being exposed to the varnish, but it'll still be lighter than the yellow tone that the wood has already taken on. So that could actually be a benefit of something sitting for years and years and years. Thank you, Teresa. I know Sheila says she loves watching Hummingbird Queen.
Oh, okay, cool.
So she's been sitting there back behind me the whole time. And I just hadn't, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to clip so I can see. I'll just clip right here so it's out of the way, but I don't have to hold it. Now, this is on a 1.5 inch cradle board, and from what I can tell, either Trekell is out of stock or they're no longer selling these, which is a bummer. I know Greg was trying to, let's see here, is that too bright? Let me unbrighten it somehow because I'm zooming in to do the foliage, plus I've got... There we go. I'll go a little taller to get the camera out of my face. Alrighty. So right here, let's see if it'll alter. The lighting's not really altering. What I'm going to do, real quick, is turn the brightness down just a bit so that I can get in here. Angle it. Now it changes colors because of the camera, not the wood. It's just how the light is hitting the camera in different angles, and so it shifts the color. Alrighty. So I'm going to start with the 18 extra small. And I had everything, my studio is a mess. My big project takes up a lot of space. So everything's moved off to the side. Alrighty. So I'm only on 3. And even though this is birch, because of how this tip burns, that should be good. So what I'm going to do, figure out what leaves are what, and I'm going to burn around them so that I can erase my graphite, and then I can shape them a little bit more. And since nobody knows what these leaves look like, because this is a fantasy piece, I don't have to worry about anything being off.
I thought we established this, that we were just going to tell them and drop the facade. This is the magical kingdom that lives in the closet. You know exactly what those leaves look like because they are real.
Don't tell.
Carmen's here.
Hey, Carmen. Hopefully that means she got the notification. So all I'm doing is negative burning around. Now, one thing with leaves overlapping leaves is as they go back into the back, they darken up because they have shadows and they're further from the camera and tend to be further from the light. So only the ones that are sticking closest to us have any kind of brightness to them. Now I want to make it, because remember this was a composition, and if you never watched any of those lives, this is a composition I made with a whole bunch of references. Excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 references, if not more, and I've altered them and put them together. So you won't find a reference like this because I made it. And that's the beauty of making your own. What? What'd I do?
You didn't make the reference, love. This is straight out of the...
You're not supposed to tell them.
The world that's in the closet.
I was sworn to secrecy.
Well, I just think it's time to tell the truth.
Thing is there's a bunch of just shapes.
Carmen says she didn't get the notification. She just happens to be here. Val said, or not Val, excuse me.
I'm Val.
I can be tired too, all right? Teresa says, do you have another house for all these pieces?
I wish. No, I need to start putting them up for... It is. I need to start putting them up for sale. It's just so busy with so many different things.
Yes, you're the woman of 1,000 projects.
And these projects need to get done. So that's why we're revisiting.
Projects.
That's why we're revisiting old ones that have just been sitting here. So all I'm doing is negative burning. I'm using the tip. I just bumped up to 4 so I can...
You know, this is why Leonardo da Vinci had such a big workspace, had such a big studio.
Oh, I'd love a giant studio.
No. You know why? Because you'll just fill it with projects. Because you just like Leonardo. They go, oh, look at all this space. I'm gonna have so many projects that I can start. I've already got 5 that I'm thinking about doing right now.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I know you.
I still want a bigger studio.
Yeah, I know.
At least I have a varnished studio now.
When we are able to
build my custom studio,
dream house. Yeah, we'll both have larger studios. I just need.
It'll be a small house, giant studio.
Yeah, basically.
Because I need several rooms.
With an attached bedroom.
Yes. I need several rooms. I need one for
need
varnishing. I need one for sanding and cutting wood. And I need one for burning. And I need one so I can see all the trees. And then I need one for watercolor and any of that stuff.
You need, like, realistically, if I'm just being pragmatic, and I know you're being a little silly, but not really.
Am I?
You need, like, 3, you need a wood shop, you need a full wood shop. That's one thing you need.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and then you need a large studio with enough space that you can have your separate projects. So you need, and I don't know, maybe you need a studio office for, like, editing and stuff.
Yeah.
That has, like, an easel. Basically, this would be, like, the studio office, and it would just have, like, whatever stuff you're working on, you know. But the rest of it, and there's a considerable amount of people would be in the other studio. I just need one studio. Well, 2.
Okay. Oh, did you hear that number go up? He teases me, but he just now went from 1 to 2.
My second one is not a studio. My second one is a game room. It's a place where I can play my games.
Mm-hmm. So all I'm doing right now is trying to flesh out how I want these leaves to be and how I want them to lay. I am a little bummed that I went a little darker on the hummingbird than what I would do now. So I got to figure out how I can change it to where I like it.
I was going to say, you're the only one.
Yeah.
You're the only one that cares.
Okay, but he's so
I thought
blended
this
in.
piece was done until I looked close at where you're working and I saw the graphite lines. Like, from a distance, it looks complete.
I'm going to bump down to 2.5, and I'm going to start putting in these lighter leaves. I'm going to touch down.
But Leonardo over here is like, no, it's not done. I've got some more work to do on this one. Oh, look, a pizza pie. Let me go work on that and make some more art. If there's any Italians in the audience, I apologize. This is the only Italian accent I have. I love Leonardo and Michelangelo. Love those guys. And also the Ninja Turtles. But that's a completely different thing, man.
So I lowered, and I'm just using the tip, moving quickly, so I can shape these leaves, put some tone to them. And at this point, I'm not looking at the reference so much. I'll figure out what's what, but let's erase some of this graphite. Now, the graphite may be harder to remove because it has been sitting on the board for 4 years. Oh, no, it's doing good. Coming off. Lucky me. Sometimes, and it really happens if you accidentally use carbon and paper instead of graphite paper, it won't be going anywhere.
Teresa says, did you do a hummingbird? I'm trying to remember. This one, right?
Yeah. This is her. She just hasn't been around. She's been like chilling in the back here.
But you haven't done a separate hummingbird.
No. She would be my one and only.
Spence, I feel you. I have had to set up shop in an apartment many times, and it's always difficult because
Yep.
yeah, when I first started painting, I was setting up. I had my stuff set up right next to my bed. You know, it was before I met Val. And yeah, so and I've lived in some situations where I just, you know, if I wasn't painting, I had to put all my stuff away. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard, and then it's hard too because like.
That's why shelves are so awesome. But even in here, this isn't a big room.
Yes.
It really isn't. It's less than half of a 2-car garage.
No.
What?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh.
No, you have
shelves go a long way.
Because you can stack things.
Because
on them. She's a stacking queen. Na na na. Stacks a lot of things.
I can't argue that one either.
Yes.
Right now, I've got so much going on. I know what my stacks are. I know what my stacks are.
It kind of sounds like a hoarder.
I'm not a hoarder, but I know what my stacks are. I am organized.
Okay.
It's when I put things away, I can't find it again.
Well, I think we all do that. But then when you find them, it's like Christmas. You're like, yay.
I do have an issue with art supplies. A lot of my art supplies I've had since 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, the minute I throw them away, I mean, if they don't go bad, like acrylic will dry out and things like that. Markers will dry out, although my markers didn't. There's things I will keep because the minute I throw it out, I'll need it. And I don't want to have to rebuy it. It's a waste of money. So I'm pushing this fern frond back.
Fern.
See, and I'm pushing it back.
Yeah, Spence, you're using when you use a scroll saw. My issue was always my compressor because I do traditional painting, but I would do airbrush painting too, and I haven't always had a airbrush compressor. I had a contractor compressor that was super loud, and I always was like, very self-conscious when I ran that thing to fill up my air tanks. So Spence says he's got art supplies from 1984.
Oh, I believe it. But if they don't go bad, why? As long as you can put them away.
Right.
If they're taking up space and you can't put them away, and I mean, I still have stained glass stuff, but they're put away. They're not in my way. So I'm trying to push some of it back, twisting it. Where I put the shadow is what will make it look twisted.
I've got art stuff from 1994, probably. That's where my stuff kind of starts. I don't have a lot.
So then you can't say anything about me. Nothing. Nada. Zilch.
Well, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But you know it's not true. Teresa, Val and I both have done oil painting. Part of my degree, I had to do oil painting and acrylics. So.
Oh yes, I have oil paint. I've got some of your oil paints in here.
Yeah.
Haven't finished that Raven.
So.
Colored pencils, inks. I do need to reorganize. Because we do have a subscription to Smart Art Box. And so we get a lot of, we get art supplies every month. I'm trying.
But some of those we will never use. I will never use them. I don't know about you. But I have no plans of doing caustic.
I don't know, it could be fun. I already use heat.
No plans. I have enough issues trying to keep up with my with acrylics and oils. I mean, and digital. Like
my biggest thing is focus. What art supplies can I use with wood burning? That is my thing. And if I can figure out how to use it with wood burning.
But let's be real, people.
What?
You can figure out how to use anything with wood burning in some way, shape, or fashion.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Exactly.
Yes, I can. So I need all kinds. That's my point. Oh.
And that's my point.
Mm. So we're slowly getting more and more of the foliage popping out. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's looking really good.
But what I have to decide is how dark the ones closer to her are going to be lighter. See, I had all kinds of different lighting throughout my reference photos. So I'm trying to make them all the same. And that can be hard if you can't visualize it. So I think that's part of why this has taken so long, is me trying to visualize how it should look.
Carmen, the bear is not done. It's Val switched.
No. I'm just trying to get as much done before starting a new project. Now this one that I'm working on, it has a light above, and so the underneath that we see is the dark part. So I'm trying to make it look like we're only seeing the underneath, which right now in the scheme of everything going on isn't really going to stand out.
So, Kathy, oil painting is a little bit more forgiving than acrylics because they take a lot longer to dry.
Yeah.
But on the opposite side of that, they're somewhat toxic. Not terribly so.
It's not. It depends on the oils, and it's not the oils that are toxic. It's the cleaner.
Well, I know that, but what I'm saying is that like if you're in a confined space, you don't have good ventilation, you're probably going to get a lot of headaches.
That is possible.
Same
if you're sensitive. Yeah.
Same thing goes with acrylics. If you use a lot of them, or if you do like me, if you use an airbrush also, then and you shouldn't use an airbrush with oils for one. That because you have to thin it out with additives that will make it very toxic. You'd have to use a respirator, and then on top of that, it might be more difficult to clean your airbrush. But just standard painting, oils are pretty forgiving. You know, they got a long dry time. So
a good thing to do with oils, though, would be to do acrylic in oils. The acrylic base, so it goes quickly.
Well, that's what I do.
And then do oils on top so that there's a different sheen and layers and.
You can get a lot of nice transparent effects with oils, and you can build your working layers. But you can, if you could plan it out, like Val says, you can use acrylics to lay down a background, an underpainting, and sort of build the bones of the painting, and then you can use the oils too, on top of that. You can't switch back and forth though. Once you go oils, then you're done. You have to stay with oils. But
it's the fat over lean rule.
But you can mix the two in terms of you can paint on top of acrylic, and that makes it really versatile. So I would recommend doing that because then you can work a lot faster if you need to.
I'm just looking for graphite to erase.
But they are interesting to work with. They're actually very soothing to work with. They have a nice texture. Don't eat them.
Don't eat your paints.
They look delicious, but don't eat them.
Now, I mentioned the fat over lean rule, and that applies to pyrography too, but more to do with your varnish, because, or varnish and if you've added color, or.
Flame over wood rule.
Flame over wood.
The wood burns with the flame. That's it, and that's all.
You can use oil painting on your pyrography.
Yeah.
I have not tried it yet, but you would have to use a clear gesso on top of your burning to do it. Because you said oils were toxic. It's not toxic, just the paint itself, but it can be corrosive to your base.
Yeah.
So you would need to do your burning gesso, clear gesso, and they do have clear gesso. Then you can paint your oils on top. But then when you go to varnish, you would need to use a oil varnish, not a water-based varnish, because the water-based varnish will not stick to the oil.
No, it will not.
So it does apply. It applies in all art mediums. The fat over lean. Lean is water. Fat is oil. So water can always go on the bottom with oil on top, but oil can't go on the bottom with water on top. They will not adhere to each other.
Correct.
They'll adhere, but they're more likely to peel.
Well.
And crack because...
It's going to be a mess.
It'll be a mess. All right.
Carmen says, I do love the texture on the mushrooms and leaves that you're working on too. Kathy said earlier, I think, hang on, I just remembered something.
Oh. Yeah, I'm going to have to push a bunch of this back in order for it to make some sense of what it is. But it's nice to get some graphite off of this.
Oh, it wasn't Kathy. It was Teresa. Teresa says, I would do this picture. Love it.
I would need to redo, I think, the reference photo because what I'm using would just confuse the heck out of anybody who doesn't have my brain.
And
it confuses me. So I need to do a better reference.
So Spence has been here the whole chat, but he said he just got the notification for this live. He says, I miss when we used to get emails about it. So.
Well, right now, there should be... I need to see your screen. Let's see here. Normally there's a little bell, but maybe because we're live right now, it's not showing it. You need to make sure your bell is clicked. But not only clicked, you've chosen all notifications. Because what YouTube does is only push out some instead of all for a specific channel. So if you're not getting notifications, you need to check and make sure you're getting all. You've got your bell checked for all. And hopefully that will fix it. Alright, what am I going to do? So I need to darken some areas to push some of this back. I think I'm going to switch over to the 18 small, bump out to 3.5, and start pushing back and shaping. Alrighty. Let's see how this does. And there's a lot of dark on here, so I can actually touch down anywhere to keep from... Oops, you know what? Let's sweep. There we go. I can touch down anywhere. Now I need really big darks to push it back and get our shape. But then I can just drag.
Kathy says she hasn't tried oil over acrylics. She'll have to try that. I would recommend it. I tend to use oils pretty sparingly because I don't need them that often. But they're undeniably, like, I guess because I prefer working in acrylics.
Yeah.
But I cannot deny like how smoothly they paint.
Yeah.
And you may like them more, and that, you know. So I'm kind of an anomaly. Most people really like oils a lot more than acrylics. But
I think it's also what you started off with.
I do. I think that's true. And then on top of that, a lot of my work is really large, so I don't necessarily need the really fine details that oils do provide, because they can provide a lot more detail, I think.
Right. See, I've started pushing this back, so it looks like we have the foliage pushing backwards. My brain like stopped right there. But I still need to darken it. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get this done in an hour. Not with the way I am. Let's see here. So this one's coming up, so what I can do, I can darken it to the tip. And then it should look like just a little bit is sticking out. In theory. In theory. Let's see. Push this back further. And trying to kind of make it look faded away. So this will be darker here because it's further away. And then it's dark. And then it's more light. Now, they are green, so they do have color to them. So they've got a tone. Push it away, make it look like it's peeking out from the background. That's my goal. It's peeking out. See, that just brought this forward closer to her.
Carmen says she gets notifications for all that she asks for except for this one. I don't know what's up with that.
I don't either. YouTube. Alright, so I've got this sticking out here, and what that is the tip of a fern. When the fern's turned, you just see the edge of it. That's what that is. So let's go ahead and put that in. Which means we need to push this back. And that is the easiest way to layer and get your lighting right, is to go back and forth, back and forth. If you go full dark, immediately it'll be harder to adjust. So if we can be a little patient. See, now this tells me I need to go darker. I'm just going to bump it up to 4.5 so I can use the tip and get a drink for a minute. You guys want a funny story?
Okay. What is this about?
Getting ghosted. I got ghosted by a brand who tried to pump my ego, saying I would be perfect for something that's coming in the future. I'm not going to give any details about it. I'm not interested in like outing anybody or anything like that. Just want to tell the story. Happened this past weekend. Apparently I got referred to this person. My name got referred to this person. And I was asked to join in on something that's coming up, and I was told why, and then I clarified in regards to it, because what they were looking for I wasn't attached to that. And explained that I had similar things going on. And the brand hearted my comment, and then I never heard from them again. In fact, they joined my group, and I have not heard from them since. And I'm pretty sure I know why. Because they didn't associate my name to me until they looked me up. And something I've done video-wise. Trying to think of the words. Trying to think of the right words without... Because I don't think the person needs to be called out, at least not right now. So I don't want to do it. But I think it's important because we get contacted all the time through social media, and then find out people aren't genuine about it.
Well, I think
when they told me I'd be perfect for it, implies that they had researched me, checked out everything you can find on me. I'm not hard to find, like, anywhere. Implies that they had already did their homework.
Well,
and they didn't.
I didn't like the way they approached you.
No.
But
I was interested in more information just so I could make my own decision. But because of a review I've done that brand was associated with, not the actual brand of the burner, but associated in a sideways way. Yeah. And see, I already knew about this person brand, because they talked to somebody else I know and wanted to help run their Instagram page, and explain that one of their little tricks in order for them to gain followers is they follow everybody within the burning community and get you to follow them back, which this actually happened with this brand for me. You follow them back, and then they unfollow you. To keep their numbers down, but to grow their numbers at the same time.
Because it makes them look really popular. It's
Yep.
like, oh my God, there's, you know.
And then this brand shares everybody's art with their own.
Yeah. See,
Yep.
I've dealt with individuals like that before as an artist. And this always bothers me. I'm sure Toasties have had run-ins with people like this in their lives as well. But there's always people that are big idea people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you know what? I've got this great thing. You're an artist. You can do this thing. And then it'll be great. We'll work together. You know, and I've got another guy, and he's going to do this thing. And I've got another guy, and he's going to do this thing. And together, we're all going to do this. And then you start putting it together, right? And you're like, well, if the 4 or 5 of us are doing all these things,
what are you doing?
Like, oh, well, I'm the idea person, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're going to benefit from all this, but you're not really going to do the work.
Yeah, wasn't getting paid for what I was being requested of at that time. But I could make 50% off peddling the recordings from what I was doing. So in other words, I had to do the work of that hour, not get paid for that, but then I had to peddle for this brand in order to make any kind of money.
And they would get 50% of that.
And then they get 50% of it.
Like, no, thank you.
And unfortunately, I know they are going to... It was like you said, they cast a wide net to see who would be interested.
Yeah.
And then when I said, let me just hear what you got to say, and they looked me up, they decided... There's 2 reasons I can think of. Pretty sure on the one I mentioned, but there's another possibility as well that I will leave alone because I've been really good about it.
So I've had 2 times in my life where I've had a really bizarre version of this. And one time was a guy who thought he was a martial arts master and he was living an alternate life, reality.
Oh.
And the other time was the time that I was asked to help build a spaceship. And like
Help build a spaceship.
Yeah. Well,
you never told me that one.
Well, I would just say, like, if anybody, like, if you got a close friend, you know, that approaches you for a project, that's something. But if you know someone and you haven't known them very long, and
or limited interaction,
they preface the conversation with, you know, I haven't known you very long, but I think I can trust you. Yeah. That's probably your cue to just like turn around and run away, because I have never had a solid interaction with, you know, with someone who's given that line to me. And
well, no, that's not the line I received though.
Huh?
That's not what the brand said to me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and in the one case, because I was a scout and because I could fly helicopters, they were trying to recruit me to fly this spaceship, and they were dead serious about it.
What spaceship?
I'm telling you, right now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm listening.
Okay, so yeah, he's a super nice guy. You know, and I was I'd been to dinner at his house a couple times, him and his wife, and I got invited to dinner one night, and there was some other people there that I knew, but that weren't normally at dinner, and anyway, and it turned out, like, after dinner, he approached me about this, and it was like, I think I can trust you with this. He had plans to build a flying saucer, and he was collecting a team of key individuals that represented specific talents. And so, like, the guys that were at dinner all had specific talents or different assets that they could bring to this project. And for me, it was because I could fly and that they wanted me to fly this thing. And so I was nice to him, and I was like, well, tell me about this project, you know, because, you know, he just fed me dinner. He's a nice guy, and I knew him.
I'll listen to you.
Sure. All right. So there were secret plans that he'd gotten from somewhere, I don't know where, and he was afraid that the government was going to come after him, which was ironic because we're both in the military and part of the government. But essentially, the idea was to build this flying saucer out of plywood.
Oh, gosh.
And so I was really nice to him, and then I politely declined and said that because of my security clearance and position, that it would make me too close to the project, and I would be a liability, and that I didn't want to compromise this project.
That's what you told him?
Yep, and I left it at that. But yeah, because there's no way that I was going to be involved with building a plywood flying saucer. Because, well,
excuse me.
Because, putting in all that work, building the flying saucer that wasn't going to fly, all right? Like, that's not a valid use of my time, all right? Even if it's to help a friend, okay? And then the second thing, let's say that this flying saucer did fly, all right? There's no way that I'm getting in a plywood flying saucer and flying out of the atmosphere in a plywood flying saucer.
It makes me think of the one movie of the kids who build their own from the 80s.
Yes.
That because they used plywood.
Yeah.
They used plywood. They also used the old, which I think all of us remember the 80s. That's in chat.
I remember the 80s.
That's in chat. Real quick, I've bumped down because I did put mist in the title. So what I'm doing is putting in, I'm going to bump down to 2.5 actually. And I'm dragging. Mist is blurry.
Okay.
So that's what I need to do is keep it blurry.
Carrie was talking about what your situation was. She says there's a name for people like that where I'm from, but I won't say it on here because that will ban me.
No, I won't ban you.
And Kathy says danger, Will Robinson. Yes, I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
The other time, it's because I used to do martial art. I still do martial arts, but I used to do martial arts, younger. And I was like an orange belt in karate. And this guy saw me sparring, and he approached me. He's like, so I think I can trust you with this. And I wasn't wearing my uniform. I was just sparring, in like sweats. He says, I can see by your moves, you're a master. And I was like, go on.
Are you sure it's not a pickup line?
No, it wasn't. Anyway, and so he introduced me to this other guy who's, both around the same age. I was like 20 something. This kid was like 18. And he was supposed to be a ninja master. And so we sparred, and we were equal because I was an orange belt and neither one of us were masters. And I was kind of amused by it, right? And I was like, but it was like, I had that little warning sign bell. Anyway, but the one kid that I was sparring with, it turned out that he had this, I believed that he was from an ancient Japanese family, and that there were ninja assassins out to kill him. And it was pretty intense.
Have you found him on Facebook yet?
No, I haven't.
To see?
But they messed with him, this poor kid, because he was in the army, right? And we deployed together, and he was in a different section, and these guys all knew that he thought that he was an exile from he had to go into the army to escape the assassins. And we were out in the middle of Iraq, and somebody brought throwing stars and put him in the bunk above his head. So this poor kid woke up, and he thought that the ninjas had tracked him to Iraq. And I think the kid had some problems. Yeah. He was super nice. He was a super nice kid, but he was like fully invested in this idea that he was a master ninja assassin, and that these assassins were out to get him. But again, that conversation started with, so I think I can trust you. So now when somebody says that, I'm just like, no!
Well, I wasn't told that. So.
No.
So, what I just did was put in some, let's fix it here, fog or mist You don't see any detail. Fog is always going to be blurry with no detail. But now it looks like the water in the fog is moving and not just static.
Mm-hmm.
What I haven't done is some of this, and I'm on just below 3. Some of this needs to go darker. And this is where water is rolling over a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to define one edge because in the reference I can see one edge, but then the rest of it is blurry. So just using the tip, moving very quickly, oval strokes. Now I'm flat because it does a smoother burn.
So Teresa says so pretty.
There you go.
And nice work on the moss. I agree. I think that moss looks fantastic.
I think I have more moss than I like. I have to figure out what moss I can kind of push back. I do like this moss, and it's on the same level as the queen. But I think the moss in the background, let's back it out. Let's look at the texture itself. I think this is too defined, and takes away from this. So if I push this back just little bit and do a more uniformed burn right here, this one should really stand out. And this is all one level. This is further back. This is in between. This is the furthest back. And then these are the furthest front. So I have to pay attention to how much detail each level has, because as we go further back, the more blurry and less detail we have.
So you wouldn't consider adding some more moss?
What do you mean?
So no moss? Been waiting for that one. We're waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, waiting for that one?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when I push a little bit more of the moss to make a no moss right here. And see this, based on its location, that mushroom needs to be darker. These mushrooms that one needs to be darker too. These mushrooms go together here. This needs to be pushed back. And I think I'll feel better about it.
Teresa says, I agree, Val. The moss in front is fantastic. Very realistic.
Thank you.
Nobody's commenting on my jokes. I think people are just...
They've gotten used to you.
I know. They've gotten used to it. Like, oh no, not again.
Not again. So all I'm doing is flat, and I'm just kind of scrumbling around.
I don't care that you're not encouraging me, chat. I'm still going to do it.
Well, Burl's not here today. Normally she would encourage you.
She would encourage me or try and...
Or smack you.
Keep me in check. One of the two.
See, just pushing back. I could use the new tool on this.
You want to do that?
No, not right now. No.
I was going to say. Yeah, Val's got some interesting things coming up soon. Some of which might surprise you. I was certainly surprised, and I wholeheartedly, 100% support the direction that you're going, and I cannot wait.
Well, one of the directions. It's not like...
wait to see this done, and this new piece she's working on, and I can't wait to see how you apply this to upcoming work.
Well, the Super Toasties already know what's going on. They've already seen it.
So some of you know.
Yeah.
I think it's
the Super Toasties know.
So now we're talking in code.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that is a game changer.
Yeah. The Super Toasties know what's
That's
going on.
what I think.
All right. I'm pushing back this moss. I need to keep the details, I think, a little bit. It's more about blurring it than... like getting rid of all the details. See, and just that little bit of darkness, looking at the camera, that just popped it out more. Just popped it out more. And we have some detail over here. See, some of the mushrooms are more negative burned than anything else. They do have some burning on it, but not a whole lot.
Kathy, speak her name and she shall appear.
Kathy loves her.
She said hi, Bernadette, but Bernadette hadn't showed up. So
Oh.
she showed up in response.
Gotcha.
Teresa, we can say no more.
You know what it is, Teresa? No. You know, well, if you don't know, the post is in group. In the secret group. Because maybe he didn't see the post yet.
Ah, I see.
Although I do need to do more of that too. I still got the burner. Alright, so just pushing it back. And look how much it's popped out this area just by darkening it a bit more. Like right here. We got some foliage right here. But don't think we need all the detail. So I'm going to push it back. Now this moss actually stands up and goes this way. So I can shape it a little bit more. Negative burning does so much for shaping without having to overdo it. Watch.
I really like the structure of this one. There's so many different textures.
But I don't want...
It's a really visually interesting work, is what I'm saying. It comes together really well, but I think that the feel of it is fantastic.
Let's see here. How's that? See, now that I've pushed it back a little bit, I'm happier with this moss.
Yeah.
Although I think I need to have some darkers right here. I'm intentionally looking at the camera because I see it differently.
Well, I would say that you separated those two.
Yeah. But now I really think this mushroom needs to push back. I'm at a little over 5. I'm intentionally pushing this rock back, which means this one needs to go even darker.
Carrie says, wow, looks amazing. Well,
Thank you.
Wow.
This is such an old piece now.
It is. Leonardo, you need to finish it.
I agree.
You need to finish it, or little Popa's going to be angry.
I agree. There. See, now the mushroom stands out even more. But I don't... How much of that mushroom do I want out? That's a good question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How much of that mushroom do I want to be sticking out?
I think it looks fantastic. Right now.
Well, it's a different layer. That's why I'm trying to figure out. This mushroom is behind this mushroom. So I'm trying to figure out...
I mean, you can tell that.
I can push it back just a little bit more.
That makes total sense.
And I'm touching down because I haven't adjusted my heat. So I'm touching down in dark places and I'm dragging in.
Well, what heat are you burning at?
I'm at a little over 5.
Oh.
Alright, so we just push that back. That works better. I think that looks better.
Wow, you got wind.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah?
But it looks like it's at the layer level that it needs to be.
Okay.
Happier with that.
You do you, boo.
Well, I can't do nobody else. So with the moss, it's more just squiggles.
Okay. Dismiss you notification. Oh, notification popped up. Get rid of it.
I'm going to go back to this one and I'm going to push it back just a little bit. I'm moving, I'm on the same heat setting, but I'm moving quickly in order to not darken up the lighter areas too much. I need them to still be lighter.
Okay. Roxy, it's sparkling.
There. Yeah, I like that better. I think it reads better. But now I'm looking at it, and look where this mushroom is compared to the water. I either need to pull out this rock a little bit, which would be an artistic choice, and I don't think a big deal. Because right now, tonal-wise, the fog and this mushroom are the same. Let's turn it on its side.
And Teresa says, very nice.
Thank you. I'm going to go flat.
How much longer are you going today? We're coming up on 1 hour.
Are we? You know what? I am going to change the shape of the rock. Because I can do that. Let's hope I'm happy with that. Let's hope.
Spoiler, she won't be.
Not necessarily. I think it helps define the mushroom a little bit better. Yeah, I'm okay with it, I think. Yeah, I think it yeah. Because now we have that, even though it's just a thin line in the scheme of things, I think it works better. I like that better. I like that better. And I'm just trying to darken up areas by the fog here to make things stand out like this. It doesn't matter just tapping in because it's the fern. And look at that.
When's our deadline for that?
Friday. Friday. Let's see here.
Work.
Lighting change. So let's see.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said you were gonna beat me.
Yep.
I don't know. Let's see here. I need some shadow here, I think. Because now I can make the mushrooms look however I want. They're my mushrooms. What?
He's trying to take your mushrooms.
They're my mushrooms. Let's see here. This is rock up here.
Teresa says, I think you're enjoying revisiting this one.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
It's a mind shift.
Well, it's much further along. And
yeah.
I think it's well.
I can see an ending.
It's well past any ugly stage.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes it easier.
It's quite pleasant.
See, I've got the palm fronds up here. So I still need to finish those. I think these need to be shaped a little bit. But, like, more messy because they're further back. More of a negative burn type, just so. And see, remember, well, not everybody may remember. When I created this, the pattern actually wraps around, but I've chosen not to do that. Sometimes I wrap. This one I think I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm still on 5, so I'm trying to move quickly.
Gotcha.
And not be in any one specific place. But I do need to smooth this out, I think. I think it's a little rough.
And Teresa says she's enjoying it too.
Oh, I think y'all. It's just nice when you can, like you said, get past the ugly stage. So we have some mist here. And you can see your vision a little bit easier.
Yeah.
It definitely helps, I think.
Yeah.
See, it looks like the rock on camera, it looks like it's kind of rolling, but not.
Patty M
Hey, Patty.
says fantastic work.
Oh, thank you. I really do need to get her done.
Welcome to the chat, Patty.
Yes, welcome. Oh, and if Sally Brown is watching, please go to the community post here on YouTube, whether it's PC or your phone, so you can join our special secret toasty group. I went looking for it. And if you don't have Facebook, you can email me so we can set something up for you. Alrighty. I've been meaning to say that, but I kept forgetting. Let's see here. Let's see here. So other than finishing the leaves, I do feel that maybe the rock down here, I'm going to bump down to 4 so I'm not so hot. Touch it down in a dark spot. That way I don't get the dreaded blob. And I'm just darkening up.
What are we doing next week?
Oh, that's a good question.
What are you doing next week?
Let's see, you got a burning pin in your pocket.
Oh, no. That would hurt.
Only if it was turned on. Let's see here. Let's push this. That is a good question.
I'll be right back.
We could continue to finish this one off. Trying to think what other pieces I don't have finished. I'm trying to make it look like it's rolling, because that's what mushrooms do. There we go. Still think it needs to be a little darker, but that's okay. Let's back it out. Put the camera on face. So, looking at it so I can adjust my eyes, I do still need to do the leaves. I'm loving the fog down here. I'm really happy with that. I do think some of this moss needs to go a little bit darker here so that it really frames the mist. Still need to figure out how to darken, how much I want to darken the background so that Hummingbird Queen here doesn't look as dark as she does. I'm going to bump this up to 5.5 because this is all dark burning. So it's going to require a higher heat. So this is water back here. This is a rock. And since I'm not getting major light, in the back of a cave, we can go darker. Let's see here. Did that lighten her up? Okay. Oh, thank you, Patty. I'll come back, dear. Well, hugs back to you, Patty. You know, you could always start now and practice and, you know, time off and relax. You don't have to wait till you retire to enjoy doing some art. But I could definitely understand wanting, like, full time to focus. But even if you spent 15 minutes, it would really help you practice for when you do retire. Alrighty. So is our hummingbird looking darker? Or lighter, I mean. I want lighter. Smoothing this stuff out. Now, when I started this piece, I didn't have this pin or the extra small. So they haven't been used on this piece yet. There we go. How's that? He's looking lighter. We're getting there. I think the lightness of this mushroom, which is part of the issue, I think. I think if I darken the mushroom up a little bit, maybe the hummingbird will lighten up, especially with the dark around it. Let's see what happens.
Patty says, have you already seen this?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
Yeah. I was telling her she could start now.
Hugs from Uruguay. Wow.
I love that we get people from all over the place.
I do too.
I think, I'm trying to figure out how to lighten up the Hummingbird Queen without actual scratching. So I'm trying to darken
What's wrong with
burned. I still feel he is darker than I want.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, and
It's your work,
I'm the
though,
artist.
so I can't. Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like he's kind of... I want her to stand out like the moss, but I think I went a little dark when I put her in. But I think that pushing these leaves back even more may help to stand her out. Because technically they are further back. So maybe if I create more dark back here, I can pop her out. A little bit, actually, I think. Well, we can keep working on this one next week, but then that'll be the last time she's on camera. And actually, I think by that time she'll be done.
You know what you need to do?
What do I need to do?
Just my opinion. You have created a lot of work over the past few years. You need to do either a live or a video, probably both, where you just showcase the art that you've completed.
Oh yeah, I need to do that. I want to do a video.
I just sabotaged her. There's only like 4 pieces that are done. Everything else is a work in process.
That's not true.
I'm just kidding.
We could go back to Grandma after this.
Grandma.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can go back to Grandma. Or the snake. So
I forgot you were doing a snake. Don't tell Burl.
Okay, yes, I'm trying to learn.
Teresa says more dog ferns behind. And yes, Patty. Okay, you're reading it, so I don't need to. Patty says your bird looks almost alive, and Teresa says yes, a gallery. Yes, I agree.
I still owe them a gallery, and I'm waiting for them. We haven't talked about it in a while for them to be finished with a couple pieces, so I can build their gallery.
But I think that we're always seeing your works in progress, and
I know
it would be really cool.
It would be. And I record everything, so I have all these recordings.
But it's not the same.
No, it's not.
In one spot.
So what are you saying? Me do a live and pop each one on?
Where you maybe spend like 5 minutes talking about each one and what you learned from it and what you like about it, and then do a showcase video where it's just music and showing your work, so that people can so that people can appreciate it as a YouTube video. Because I think that.
I do think I need.
I think that's really important.
Let's see here. I need to. I think brighten this up just a little bit now, so we can tell.
What? Burl's here? Oh no.
Burl, yes, Burl showed up. No, not the snake.
No, they're talking about the snake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she is talking about the snake. Hey, bring Bernard up for her. Bernadette. Bernadette, Burl's here.
She's late. But she's here. I don't think we have a late Bernadette.
No, we don't. That's fine.
I need to put more Bernadettes up. Yes. Mm-hmm. More of you. Alrighty. So we'll finish. We'll just finish this off and be done with her. That's what needs to happen. So I need to finish the fern. Some more fern
Greg's
up
here.
here. Hey, Greg. As we're leaving, I
Hello.
think I need to separate the water. I think I have this water too light right here. So I need to separate the water so that our fog really stands out.
Burl says I heard you, Jason. That's funny.
So that's what we will do next week.
Oh, she's been here a while, but
Oh.
quiet for once. Why is Burl lurking?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's get off my hair.
Quiet for once.
All right. Yeah, no, let's see here. Do we have anything else? I'm going to finish that. The Super Toasties know about that. Do we have any questions about Hummingbird Queen? See, it looks darker on screen than it actually is. Let's do this.
Well, it's funny because when you tilted it up,
Yeah, the color.
then the color shifted darker for me. Because
Well, that's what, yes, it does.
because when it's laying like that, I'm getting
The light.
more light.
Yeah.
And actually some light from the window too. It really lightens it up.
Let's see here. So let's add a little. This is closer. But then it does that. But yes. That's closer to what he's at. I think. You know, I could put jewels on her. Maybe I'll put jewels. I can glue jewels in her crown.
Okay.
Maybe that would help stand her out. I don't know. I'll think about it. So if we ain't got no more
Spence
questions.
says looks almost 3D.
But not 3D yet.
I think it does though. I think it looks 3D too. I do.
I think I really, really like this part. That's like
Teresa's.
this mushroom is like my favorite areas.
Teresa is saying goodbye. Just thank you for the
Bye.
inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, time to burn. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Bye, Teresa. I need
Bye,
to get
Teresa.
my week 3 done. We're on week 4 of World Pyrography Month.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't get any done last
There's
week
another
because...
thing you're doing.
But we're almost done. We're almost done. I got to get week 3 in and start on week 4. Friday is when the big piece is got to be ready enough for photos to submit. And I need to continue working on the Super Toasties New Year's surprise.
I'm not going to tell you what month it is.
I've got 3.5 burned. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, burned. I need to get them finished and shipped out. So I've got 11 total to finish.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Oh, gosh, I'm tired.
I know.
Gosh, am I tired. Alrighty. So we will pick her up next week, and she will be ready for her coronation.
Oh,
She will be done.
okay.
We will finish her next week.
Nice.
So, we haven't said it yet. So let's say it.
Yes.
Say it with me.
I am. I'm ready.
You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist.
So,
Happy burning, guys.
I think I can trust you.